Headlines of VTV News: Unlocking the potential of carbon credits in seaweed cultivation. Friendly administration model proves effective. And later on in our world news, Russia and India strengthen special strategic partnership.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, VTV News starts right now.
Hello and welcome to VTV News, broadcast live to you from Hanoi. You're with me, Lina Pham. Here's the top news of the hour. Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh chaired the National Military Political Conference reviewing the first 6 months of the year. He highlighted several achievements and commended the Ministry of Defense for its positive outcomes. Looking ahead, the Prime Minister urged the ministry to continue its role in strategic consultation with the party and state on military defense. He emphasized the importance of fully understanding and strictly implementing the principles of 5 determinations, 5 initiatives, as directed by General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng at the recent Central Military Commission conference. Additionally, he emphasized the need for prompt and effective responses to unforeseen challenges and emerging issues. The Prime Minister also called upon the entire military to enhance combat readiness and achieve breakthroughs in mastering science and technology. The National Assembly Standing Committee held its 35th session to review and discuss 6 important issues. Opening the session, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn stated that early preparation will ensure the timely delivery of documents to delegates and improve the quality of the review reports of the National Assembly's Ethnic Council and committees. The National Assembly Chairman said the session will also address 2 new activities of the National Assembly, the Legal Forum and the Forum on Supreme Supervision. These activities aim to accurately reflect voters' concerns, helping the government, ministries and branches better manage and operate the economy. The National Assembly Standing Committee also reviewed and approved the draft resolution on the dissolution, establishment and merger of several military region criminal investigation agencies and their equivalents, as well as regional criminal investigation agencies in the Vietnam People's Army. They also reviewed the draft resolution on improving the organization and apparatus of the military procuracy at all levels and the report on the National Assembly's public opinion work in May and June 2024. State budget collection from Vietnam's export-import activities reached $8.38 billion in the first half of 2024, equivalent to 53.5% of the target, and up 8.4% year-on-year, according to the General Department of Vietnam Customs, or GDVC, on July the 9th. This strong performance came amid a surge in overall trade. Vietnam's total export-import turnover reached $369.62 billion during the period, up 16% annually. Exports grew at a slightly slower pace than imports, rising 14.9% to $190.73 billion. Imports, on the other hand, jumped 17.3% to $178.88 billion, resulting in a trade surplus of $11.85 billion. For 2024, the National Assembly assigned the GDVC a target of collecting 375 trillion Vietnamese dongs for the state coffer, with 204 trillion Vietnamese dongs coming from export-import activities. Vietnam's Purchasing Managers Index, or PMI, has sharply increased to 54.7 points in June, up from 50.3 points the previous month. Notably, the volume of orders has seen the strongest growth in over 13 years. The textile and garment industry is among the manufacturing sectors, garnering the highest order volumes. Many businesses have secured export orders until the end of this year and even into the first quarter of next year.
ProSport, a business specializing in sports product exports to Europe and America, reported a 15% increase in their order volume for the first 6 months of this year compared to the same period last year.
Currently, we have orders scheduled for the entire year of 2024, even extending into the first quarter of next year.
The significant increase in export orders is a key factor contributing to the PMI growth. Experts believe that the current rapid rise in new export orders is the fastest since early 2022.
The gradual recovery in external demand for Vietnamese exports since late 2023 is having a strong positive impact on the manufacturing sector. Global trade is accelerating, so Vietnam is expected to receive surging orders.
Businesses are increasing production and purchasing activities in response to growing new orders. Most importantly, they are also hiring more employees to meet production demands.
The surge in orders has led to increased transportation and input costs. However, ongoing government support policies such as extending the 8% VAT rate until the end of the year and the UK and Northern Ireland joining the CPTPP will bolster Vietnam's textile and garment exports towards a monetary total of $44 billion this year.
By joining the CPTPP and meeting the origin criteria, we can reduce tariffs to 0% in the UK market.
Manufacturing companies also indicate plans to recruit an additional 10 to 15% more workers to accommodate increased production orders and handle more complex orders to enhance export value.
The aquaculture sector is recognizing the carbon credit potential in the seaweed industry, which can store 1,500 tons of greenhouse gases per square kilometer. The seaweed industry holds various values, as seaweed is also used in food, cosmetics, and pharmaceuticals. The most urgent issue now is to establish a large enough cultivation area, leveraging the advantages of a long coastline and a vast exclusive economic zone.
Vietnam is home to over 800 species of seaweed, 90 of which have economic value. According to scientists, seaweed grows 30 to 60 times faster than land plants, enabling it to absorb more carbon dioxide and thus create significant carbon sinks.
Seaweed has chlorophyll. It has the same mechanism as green trees, absorbing carbon and releasing oxygen. We can harvest it before sunset for processing.
The Blue Ocean Blue Foods program, aimed at establishing carbon sink for aquaculture industry, has just been launched with the participation of all stakeholders. The goal is to develop large-scale seaweed cultivation to mitigate climate change, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and enhance community livelihoods. Businesses are now producing bioplastic cups from seaweed. Vietnamese seaweed has notable strengths in pharmaceutical sector.
We have extracted substances for chemistry and substances used in the food industry that could be used in dairy products. The amount extracted from Vietnamese seaweed is much higher than seaweed from Japan and South Korea, as was shown in our trial.
Currently, not only are there pure seaweed areas, but seaweed can also be combined with other seafood, such as oyster and pearl farming, to increase their added value. If we have a large enough cultivation area, farmers can sell carbon credits with the help of international organizations.
According to Department of Fisheries, Vietnam's potential seaweed cultivation area could reach about 1 million hectares, yielding 600,000 to 700,000 tons of dry seaweed annually. The agricultural industry recognizes seaweed as a green material that can help clean the sea and atmosphere, while providing a good income for people, given the relatively low investment costs.
The government issued a resolution on mobilizing ODA and concessional foreign loans last year. This was done to implement 16 projects under Government Resolution number 120 on sustainable development in the Mekong Delta region to adapt to climate change. 1 year into the implementation has shown that localities need to expedite progress to achieve breakthroughs in infrastructure.
The 16 sustainable development projects in the Mekong Delta region aiming to facilitate adaptation to climate change are quite diverse. They range from coastal road construction to enhancing river embankments and building freshwater reservoir systems. The project to construct the coastal corridor in Tra Vinh province is among those with the best progress.
The province is determined to set project timelines, completing feasibility studies in the third quarter and submitting approval and appraisal reports in the fourth quarter.
However, many projects are still awaiting input from ministries or undergoing review and adjustments. To date, adjustments have increased total investment to over $3.7 billion and $2.8 billion. Most projects facing delays require financial mechanism explanations. It is currently impossible to receive agreements on exceeding total borrowing and applications for foreign borrowing ratios for projects.
The budget limit stipulated in Resolution 41 must be extended. Consensus with the Ministry of Finance on a ceiling limit must be reached, and all localities are to respect that. Any locality exceeding these limits should fund their projects locally.
Leaders of the Ministry of Planning and Investment also requested localities streamline current project scopes and not expand any categories. Each project continuously updates progress and actively resolves legal obstacles. The Mekong Delta region is facing critical climate change threats. The 16 Mekong Delta projects of International Financing Corporation using foreign loans are expected to drive infrastructure breakthroughs in the region. These are critical projects, fostering connectivity within and between regions.
And before we move to the next part of VTV News, let's check out how the Vietnam dong is weighed against other currencies in the world market today. Coming up next, friendly administration model proves effective. And localities boost domestic tourism in Vietnam. Landslides in Hà Giang and other northern mountainous provinces are expected to intensify as heavy rainfall persists. Thunderstorms are anticipated across the Midland provinces and northern mountainous areas on Wednesday evening, with rainfall ranging from 15 to 30 millimeters and exceeding 100 millimeters in some locations. The heavy rain is projected to persist until the weekend. There is a significant risk of flash floods in small rivers and streams, landslides on slopes, and flooding in low-lying areas. Furthermore, due to the influence of an east wind disturbance and a strengthening southwest monsoon, scattered thunderstorms are expected in the central highlands and southern regions, with localized heavy rainfall exceeding 60 millimeters possible. During these thunderstorms, there is a chance of tornadoes, lightning, and strong winds. How can authorities improve how they serve the people? In response to this question, numerous models and initiatives for administrative procedure reform have emerged, with the vision to make government offices better able to satisfy the needs of citizens and businesses. The friendly administration model has recently been deployed in Dong Nai province and has initially proven effective.
A friendly government first requires a friendly working environment. As such, the Tân Phong Ward People's Committee hung these signs in the reception area to remind officers that their attitude in serving people is a key criterion in evaluating the friendliness of public service environment.
People feel satisfied when they encounter civil officers who greet them with smiles and assist them every step of the way through procedures. We take great pleasure in providing continuous support throughout the process.
In a friendly administration model, the gap between the civil servants and the people is reduced. For elderly individuals handling administrative tasks, the ward provides officers to offer support and provide guidance, making people like Lian feel more at ease.
I feel at ease and happy. The support builds trust not just for the individual officers, but for the whole administration model. It's important that people feel a sense of friendliness with the authorities.
Tân Phong Ward is one of 11 localities in Đồng Nai province implementing the friendly administration model. After 6 months of implementing, the rate of administrative procedures processed in daily increased by 30% compared to before.
Every week I will review their work and urge them to finish their tasks faster and return the documents to the people even faster.
When we treat people as family members, everyone feels comfortable and work proceeds more smoothly as a result.
Expanding beyond the grassroots level, Đồng Nai province aims to establish a friendly administration model across various departments and branches to enhance the quality of civil service.
About 2/3 of Vietnamese families are using AI tools to plan their trips. They want to travel and experience the different dishes they see in movies, according to a survey by the online travel platform Booking.com. The survey reveals that destinations with beautiful natural landscapes, opportunities to explore, local history, and cultural experiences are the top choices for Vietnamese families. Comfort is also a priority. The most participants said air conditioning is the most important amenity when booking their accommodation. Summer is the low season for international tourists visiting Vietnam. However, it is the peak period for domestic tourism. As the result, the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism has launched a program titled Vietnamese Travel to Vietnam, Vietnam I Love It, to promote inbound tourism. Many localities have participated in this program.
Hanoians and tourists experience 4- and 5-star hotel services in Hanoi. This is a program by the Hanoi Department of Tourism to attract more domestic tourists to the capital city. These high-end hotels offer preferential rates and product packages that include rooms, restaurants, seminars, and service discount vouchers.
This summer, visitors to Hanoi are welcomed with a wide range of day and night tours to explore the city's relics and heritage. Additionally, visitors can also enjoy high-end experiences in services and hotels in the capital city.
Not only Hanoi, but Da Nang also launched its summer tourism stimulation program from June to September the 30th. With a budget of around $120, visitors from Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City are offered round-trip tickets and 2 nights of accommodation in Da Nang.
The recent Da Nang Fireworks Festival has attracted a great number of tourists. I believe this approach can stimulate inbound tourism. We are also competing with other destinations in the region. For example, Hanoi tourists can opt for Da Nang, Phu Quoc, or destinations like Thailand's Phuket. These destinations are competing with each other.
In the context of high airfares, the program is expected to strongly promote inbound tourism across the country.
In recent years, Vietnamese theater has been grappling with a lack of contemporary plays. The number of plays that reflect current issues and touch on people's deepest thoughts and concerns is dwindling. This poses a significant challenge for the art form. More to follow.
Playwright Chu Thơm began his career in his 30s, gracing the Vietnamese stage with numerous acclaimed works. Over the past 4 decades, he has continued to receive invitations to pen scripts. However, he acknowledged the need for fresh perspective and voices from young talents to keep the art form relevant to the times. Yet, there is a shortage of such talent.
The contemporary voice must come from today's young people. Writing stage scripts is challenging and many young people give up easily after being rejected once or twice.
As the theater scene craves fresh scripts with new styles, the theater script writing program at Hanoi Academy of Theater and Cinema faces suspension due to a lack of applicants. Seasoned playwrights are dwindling in numbers, and passionate young authors are becoming increasingly rare. Additionally, they often lack the necessary depth and refinement.
In recent years, authors and stage producers have complained about the suspension of theater scriptwriting majors. This is due to the challenges in writing for youngsters. Furthermore, art organizations are reluctant to put their faith in young writers.
Modern play scripts avoid reflecting on contemporary issues.
The theater, often revered as a sanctuary of art, holds the power to guide and inspire. However, the lack of passion and talented young playwrights has created a significant gap, hindering its ability to address the profound thoughts and concerns of today's audience.
The People's Committee of Lac Sơn Province worked with the UNESCO Global Geoparks Network expert team after nearly a week of on-site appraisal of the application for recognition of Lac Sơn Geopark as a UNESCO Global Geopark. The UNESCO Global Geoparks Network expert team has appraised and evaluated 26 over 38 points of 4 tourist routes in the Lac Sơn Geopark area. These are places with outstanding values in terms of geological heritage, cultural traditions, history, archaeology, biodiversity, and some unique landscapes of the province. Lac Sơn Province is determined to build Lac Sơn Geopark as a global geopark, contributing to the development of Vietnam's global geoparks. For the first time this year, the Losteria trees are blooming in Ninh Thuận province, attracting many tourists who are eager to experience their beauty. Polycias fruticosa is a woody plant native to the tropics that often blooms in the summer with the characteristic purple or light purple color. The flowers typically have 6 petals that are each about 2 to 3.5 centimeters long. Due to their suitability for Vietnam's climate, as well as their ability to provide shade and enhance the landscape's aesthetics, Losteria trees are widely planted in many areas of Vietnam, including Ninh Thuận. Different from the Losteria grown in urban areas, Losteria forests in Ninh Thuận province have small trunks, many branches, and grow on rocky mountains, characteristic of dry forests. Coming up next in our world news, Russia and India strengthen special strategic partnership. And NATO summit commences in Russian President Vladimir Putin and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi held formal talks at the Kremlin on Monday. The two leaders emphasized strong bilateral relations and agreed to fully optimize the potential of their strategic partnership. Russia and India adopted a joint statement following the 22nd Russia-India summit. 9 cooperation documents were signed, mainly in the economic field. The two sides agreed to strengthen cooperation in mechanical engineering, shipbuilding, and aerospace industry, and to establish new investment and technological partnerships. They also agreed to develop a bilateral settlement system using national currencies. India and Russia aim to boost their bilateral trade to over $100 billion by 2030. Additionally, they discussed the possibility of supplying Russian energy resources to Indian ports via the Northern Sea route, transiting through Russia's far eastern ports. The summit commemorating the 75th anniversary of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, opened on Monday in Washington, D.C., United States. 38 leaders of NATO member countries and partners are attending the conferences and will outline new directions for the organization. From 12 founding members in 1949, NATO has now grown to 32, with 23 members allocating at least 2% of their GDP to defense spending. This year alone, NATO allies will invest over $500 billion in defense, compared to $325 billion in 2020. According to a conference report, NATO has the ability to mobilize 100,000 troops within 10 days, doubling that number in a month and increasing to 500,000 troops in the following weeks. NATO's land, air, and sea weaponry is also reportedly being continuously modernized. NATO faces challenges from all directions and in various areas, including terrorism, technology, and cybersecurity. To address these issues, NATO is strengthening its cooperation with several partners in the Indo-Pacific region. Europe's new Ariane 6 rocket blasted off for the first time smoothly on Tuesday, carrying with it the continent's hopes of regaining independent access to space. The micro-satellites were delivered 1 hour and 6 minutes after the rocket blasted off from French Guiana. More on this in the following story.
Weighing 540 tons and standing 56 meters tall, Europe's newest rocket left the launch pad in Kourou, French Guiana around 4 p.m. local time, at the start of a nearly 3-hour flight. This launch ended a year-long hiatus in European access to space.
Everything else would be not normal, because we have all worked for this day over 10 years. Now the day has come, the day of the ultimate flight test.
Since the European Space Agency retired its workhorse Ariane 5 rocket more than a year ago, Europe has had no independent means of sending its satellites into space, while conflict in Ukraine has cut Western ties to Russian Soyuz rockets and Italy's Vega C is grounded. The European Space Agency nations agreed in 2014 to develop Ariane 6 in response to growing competition in the commercial launch market. However, its arrival, originally due in 2020, has been repeatedly delayed.
An Ariane 6 would be capable to fly astronauts, and we would be delighted to do so in the coming years, being it in 5 or 10 years. But Ariane could transport astronauts to the moon or elsewhere. That's one point. The second point is that we need to be adapted for future uses. Constellations is one example for fast internet and fast data exchange, and Ariane 6 has been booked for nearly 30 flights for such constellations, and this needs extra work.
Ariane 6 was developed at an estimated cost of €4 billion by Ariane Group, co-owned by Airbus and Safran. With this successful debut, Ariane 6 has about 30 customer missions to launch over the next several years.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast. And that's it for this edition of VTV News. Thank you very much for watching. To rewatch our program, you can download VTVgo from App Store or Google Play, or tune in our YouTube channel at youtube.com/VTV4Go. Goodbye for now.